All right. Let's Okay. So, good afternoon. My name is Jessica Stender. I use her pronouns, and I'm the policy director and deputy legal director of Equal Rights Advocates. And we are proudly the chair of the Stronger California Advocates Network, which is now over 65 organizations from all around the state of California. And every year we come together around key bills and budget proposals advancing economic security for women, families, and communities throughout the state. And I am very excited today to be joined by Carmen Gutierrez with Clean Car Wash Center. And they are a member of the California Coalition for Worker Power, which is a partner within the Stronger California Advocates Network. So, Carmen, thank you so much for being here today. If we could just start off with you telling me a bit more about Clean and about the California Coalition for Worker Power.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Carmen Gutierrez, and I am an organizer with the Clean Car Wash Workers Center. We are based in LA, but we do service the Inland Empire, LA County, and Orange County. And well, Clean is actually the country's first car wash worker center. And, we aim in transforming the lives of thousands of carwacheros in the greater Los Angeles area. The car wash industry is one of the most exploitative industries in LA County. And just a little bit of the work that we do through direct organizing at Clean. We really want to make sure that we continue to lead and do outreach and advocate around job safety, workplace hazards, wage and hour laws, environmental protection, and just in general, improving the overall health of the community of carwacheros.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that information. And could you tell us a little bit about the California Coalition for Worker Power? I know Clean is a member of that coalition in California.
Yeah, Clean as a member. The California Coalition for Worker Power is a coalition composed of different groups of worker centers, unions, and worker advocates that are all dedicated to ensuring that every worker in California has the power to come together with their peers and improve the work conditions in their communities and in their workplaces. In this coalition, we believe that all work is valuable and that all working people, no matter what backgrounds, hold the collective power to change the conditions in their workplace.
We are really proud to work with the California Coalition for Worker Power as a member of Stronger California, precisely because of the incredible work that the coalition does with workers and led by workers in communities throughout the state. One of the key priorities of the California Coalition for Worker Power, for your organization, Clean, and a priority on the Stronger California 2025 agenda is a bill and budget request that has to do with the California Workplace Outreach Program, also known as CWOP by its acronym. Could you tell us a little bit more about what CWOP is and why it is so important for Californians?
Yes, so CWOP stands for the California Workplace Outreach Program. And just to give you a brief background about this program, it actually began as a project and it was started at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. We were hearing about many workers that were essential workers and that were going to work, but were not being provided with the safety to make sure that they returned home the way they went to work. We were hearing about workers that were going to work, going back home and getting their families sick, and even heard of cases where workers passed away for going to work. And so CWOP is a partnership between state labor agencies and 89 worker and community organizations that serve as trusted messengers to workers at risk of wage theft, unsafe work workplaces, retaliation, and abuse. So this partnership, what allowed was to really connect workers with information that meant literally whether you were able to live or not. Especially in COVID, it was a very hard time for families having to choose whether to stay home or having to go out to work. So this program came at the perfect time because it allowed us to really bring these very important information to workers and their families and tell them, hey, despite everything that's going on, you have rights. Your employer is supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z for you. And many of the organizations that are a part of CWOP, they speak dozens of languages, which is essential to reaching millions of California workers who we know may speak different languages, right? Who we know English might not be their primary form of communication. And many of the workers that we work with are workers who face are immigrant workers who face intimidation because of their status. CWOP has made it more accessible for workers from all backgrounds and languages to get this very vital information, and it has made it more accessible for community-based organizations to connect with different workers and different, just in general, different folks, right? These CBOs are trusted messengers in that we are experts in the industries, and many of those who do outreach are now staff that used to work in that industry. So it's folks that know the industry. The partnership between the state agencies and the CBOs has successfully connected workers to information, but I think most importantly, it has allowed them to have the tools to be able to address workplace violations, whether it's through informal resolution or filing a complaint. CWOP has helped workers take action in asserting their rights. Without a union, many employers hold so much power, especially in low wage industries. Workers standing up to their bosses are constantly at a risk of retaliation. But we know that when workers stand together and really take collective power, and most importantly, when they know they have behind them an organization that also is being backed up by agencies, like that is powerful. Having workers know that is so powerful. And like I mentioned before, I work with the Clean Car Wash Center, and well, we've been a part of CWOP since the beginning of the program. One of our members, her name is Sylvia, she actually became active when during some of the COVID outreach. She herself was experiencing some unsafe conditions at her workplace and discrimination as well. She learned about her rights, and now she forms a part of our outreach team that goes and talks to carwacheros and carwacheras that maybe one day were in her same situation. So yeah, CWOP is definitely a tool that we can't let go. It's crucial information. It brings crucial information, and most importantly, it really reminds workers that there are agencies that have their back and that they they have the right to do and to change their workplace.
You explained so perfectly why the California Worker Outreach Program or CWOP is so important because it has this special kind of really innovative structure connecting a workforce agency that is intended to protect workers, run by the state, with the workers on the ground via these trusted messengers, these community-based
Hmm.
organizations or CBOs. And in our experience advocating with workers, we know that often having a trusted messenger, a person from the community, like Sylvia, a person who actually worked in that workplace, having them be the messengers to workers to tell them, here are your rights, here's how you can assert your rights, and here's what you
Mm-hmm.
do if you've had a violation of your rights. It's just such a powerful way to help workers really fully understand the protections that exist and support them if they do want to take legal action or take some kind of action to rectify a violation. And for that reason, Stronger California really stands behind any efforts to strengthen CWOP. Um, could you talk to us a little bit about the legislation that is pending around this important CWOP program that is a priority of the Stronger California Network?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a bill 578, and this bill would essentially write CWOP into California's labor code. And why is this important? Because it it's a commitment to making this program an ongoing part of our labor enforcement system in California. And although we know the program is effective, throughout the years, we have faced funding interruptions that make it very difficult to continue doing this work out in our communities, right? This bill would expand the scope of CWOP as well. Right now, a lot of the information that we share with workers is around basic, mainly work fighting and fighting wage theft in their workplace, ensuring that they have safe working conditions and the right to speak up without retaliation. But we also want to talk to workers about other rights that they have, such as paid family and medical leave, which now this year we know that it changed. Now families are able to receive up to 90% of their income when they need to care for a family member that is sick, or if a new parent needs to bond with a baby. Before it was a lot lower, and now it's higher. And we also want to make sure we can talk to workers about fighting discrimination at their workplace, especially in these times. So not only are we looking to codify the bill, but we're also asking for additional funding to expand the scope of CWOP. We're asking for 13 million for CWOP in this year's budget so we can scale up the program and continue to bring this crucial information to more families and workers.
Thank you for the overview. We, as the Stronger California Advocates Network, are in strong support of this priority bill and budget request to ensure that CWOP, the program, is codified into our labor code. The legislature shows its intent to make this and have this be a permanent program, and that we have enough funding for the program for this important work. So we will share with you all a link to an action campaign in the bio here so that you can take action to urge your legislators to support this important legislation to ensure that CWOP, this incredibly successful partnership between the government labor agency and workers through via these trusted messengers in their community, is made permanent. And so we hope that you all can join us in supporting this bill, SB 578, as well as the budget ask, by taking action at the link in our bio to ensure that this important workers' rights program remains and is able to continue reaching the workers that it needs to reach. Thank
Mhm.
you so much, Carmen. Any final words that you'd like to add before we close?
I would just want to add that more than ever, given this current administration's attack on worker rights and immigrant communities, California needs to continue leading the fight and setting an example for the rest of the nation on workers' rights. So we do need that funding. So we do need it to be codified, and we got to make sure more workers know about their rights so they can continue to be the ones leading the fight, and also making sure that them and their families know that they're protected and that they have a right to do this.
Amen. Well, we are so proud as the Stronger California Advocates Network to support SB 578 as a priority bill and to advocate for the California Worker Outreach Program with the California Coalition for Worker Power, with Clean Car Wash Worker Center. So we will share information with you all about how you can support these important efforts via the link in bio. And thank you so much, Carmen, for joining us today and talking to us more about this important bill and these important efforts.
Well, thank you for having me.